thanks for spending some time with us today, and I really appreciate it, and it's very courageous. What's given you the courage, and why at this time are you willing to kind of share your story and help others?
So what brought me to this website is it's a website of like helping others, and in my program of sobriety, when I first came in, what I got was help from others, like willingly to help me. And since I got to a certain stage where I figured out what I was supposed to do, now it's time for me to give back and help others and share what I've learned.
Awesome. So what is it that you feel that you have learned?
I've learned kind of how to relive my life normally before, to get through normal things like work and school, to be able to be comfortable and to just start my life normally, whereas before it was really chaotic and, filled with drugs and chaos. And
So tell me a little bit about that chaos, that thing that kind of moved you to want to make a change. How was it? What was that chaos like?
I started using drugs and drinking just for fun, and, it was the normal thing to do in high school, at parties and things like that. But for me, it was always something more. It was the thing that made me feel comfortable, and I always wanted it more than other people wanted it. I wanted to do it every single day, and, that built up for me really fast. I was always, the one who was the drunkest, always wanted to get drugs, and it turned into something where I needed those drugs, and I started using drugs every single day, and I got kicked out of my house. I got 2 DUIs. I was getting in a lot of trouble with the law. I was going from friend's house to friend's house, and I ended up trying to commit suicide, and it was just kind of like an intervention with family and friends telling me that they didn't want to deal with me anymore, that made me kind of just give in and decide to go to rehab. I didn't really want to do it, but it was just something that was basically the last house in the block. It was I had no other choice, and so I kind of just gave in and decided to go there to get away.
So once you got away to a support structure, the sober living, how did that go? Tell me about that experience. Initially it had to feel kind of weird, right?
Well, when I first got there, I didn't go to rehab deciding I'm going to be sober for the rest of my life. I didn't even really know what that meant or what that was all about at all. I kind of just went there to take a break, and as I was there and I started to relate with other people, I started to see what they were doing. All these people were happy and going through the same kind of thing that I was, and I started to relate to them, and just kind of as I went on, I started to really think, maybe this is something that I actually want to do, is to be sober, which is really weird. It's a whole different way of life, and it was really hard in the beginning.
Tell me about it being hard. How was it hard? What made it difficult for you? We all know it's difficult to make big changes in our lives, but specifically for you, what was the hard thing?
To me, I'm naturally uncomfortable. I'm a really shy person, and it's really hard for me to feel like I fit in. And coming into this program, these people, they're your friends whether you want them to be or not. They take you in initially and just love you until you love yourself, which is one of the cheesy lines that they say. And just that support structure and all the friends and the people that were going through the same thing as me, because I went there alone. I felt like I had nobody. I didn't even want to be there. But I went there and I got taken in immediately, which was something that was really attractive to me and something that I've struggled with my whole life, as wanting to fit in and wanting, people to like me, just a normal thing. And just being there in the beginning, that was what helped me stay there, was having that support structure. Going through sobriety, it was really hard because it's a whole lifestyle change. Everything I've ever known, it's completely the opposite, and you have to learn. Basically, it's being reborn. You have to learn how to live again, how to do small things again, and do it sober. And with all those people there helping you along the way is something that really helped me to stick around until I could do it on my own and wanted it for myself.
So that right there is a huge step that a lot of people haven't made. What do you think was the turning point? What was the thing where you were able to make that step, where you were able to do it on your own? Because a lot of people just go back to rehab and go back to rehab and go back to rehab.
I was crazy before. I was crazy the way I lived my life, the way I thought that I wanted to die. I didn't care about anyone. Basically, I was really selfish. And, I don't know where it was, but just in all the support and listening to all these people's stories and how they've changed, at one point I just realized, like, I got into reality. I realized, like, what I'd been doing, how I was before, and, like, how I was hurting my family and other people, when really before it was all about me. I thought, like, I was the victim, I was the only one, like, all these people were against me, and I, like, poor me, but I realized, you know, really what I was doing to other people with my addiction, and what I was doing to my friends and my family, and, like, how many people it would have hurt if I actually would have, you know, ended up passing away on my own account. And just, like, realizing that, it was, like, a really emotional moment for me, and it made me want to, you know, stick around and, like, learn, you know, how to be good and how to, like, mend all of those things. And yeah, that realization was, like, a really big step for me to, like, want to stay there, but it still is hard. You have to, like, work the program and go through all these things, because little things will come up, like, oh, I lost my job or something like that. That thing in the back of my brain immediately tells me that, like, oh, I want to go drink right now. It's just, like, baby steps that, you know, you have to keep going through. And in this sobriety program, like, you have sponsors, people that have a little bit more time than you, and they, like, sponsor you and help you, you know, through the 12 steps and, like, through, like, the whole program. And so anytime I had a problem or something like that, and I felt like, oh, I feel like I want to drink right now, or I feel like I want to go use, instead of doing that, I pick up the phone and I call her. And since she has more time than me, she's been through these things, so she can help me, you know, get through it step by step.
Was it easy, hard? How was getting that specific sponsor for you?
Well, you know, I was kind of pressured into getting a sponsor because it's something that you do, and, you know, I was shy and I didn't really know who to ask. And people were telling me, like, I need to get a sponsor. And at the end of, like, meetings, they'll ask people, everybody who wants to be a sponsor or has gone through the steps and can be a sponsor, like, please stand up. And so she stood up, and she was, like, sitting right behind me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to ask her. And then after the meeting, I asked her, and she said yes, and it ended up being a really good thing.
So she's been instrumental.
Yeah, I mean, not only has she, like, guided me and, like, helped me through this whole program, she's, like, you know, family to me now. She's one of my, like, best friends, and she's a really important person in my life.
Awesome. So what Dented Ego is going to do is try and be that support structure for a lot of people online. Can you tell me, what do you think that would fit into what you've done? Do you think that having a place online to support, to find sponsors, to get support structure would be beneficial?
I think it would be really beneficial, because I feel like a lot of people, you know, they might not want to admit to their family or their friends, even if it's obvious to everyone around them. They might not want to admit that they have a problem. They might feel like they don't know how to, like, just, you know, show up at a meeting and ask people, like, especially for people like me who, like, are really shy. It's just, like, a safe place to go online where you can feel comfortable doing that. I think that's, you know, going to be a really cool thing.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything you'd like to say to our, you know, online members at all today, that, you know, you just want to give them one last thought of your success or your struggles, something you'd like to share?
Sure. I mean, being a young person in sobriety, like, when I heard, like, when I first heard the line, like, you're going to be sober for the rest of your life, you have to do this for the rest of your life, like, when I went in there, I thought, like, I'm just going to get, you know, off the drugs for a little bit, and then I'll be able to go and drink normally, and everything will be fine. But, like, you have to be sober for the rest of your life, and I thought, that, like, what? That means my life is over. Like, I'm just going to be a boring old lady and not do anything with the rest of my life. But really, like, I have so much fun being sober. Like, I still go out, I party with all of my friends, and I go in a big sober community, and we go out together. And, you know, through this journey, I've become comfortable with myself, which is something that I wasn't before, so that when I go out, I can have fun without drinking and using, and I still have fun. I'm still a kid. I still like to be wild, and, you know, I just do it the right way. I remember things. I don't make those same mistakes and put myself in harm's way. And being sober is definitely, you can have a lot of fun and be good with yourself.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.